Hey, my name is Badass Benny and welcome to my channel. If you're an ACE, A.M.A.C, and sex human trafficking survivor, you're in the right place. And it won't cost you a penny to like and subscribe and share worldwide. And please leave a comment down below or just say hi and let me know what you think about the videos in a good way. Today we're going to talk about A.M.A.C, adult molested as children, or you refer to as adult molested as child. And so we're going to hear how we're going to define incest. Incest is a particular manifestation of sexual child abuse. The traditional definition of incest is sexual activity between blood relatives. The degree of closeness that is necessary to constitute an incestuous union has been variously defined by different societies. In all cultures that we are aware of, sexual activity between parent and child and between siblings is viewed as incestuous and is prohibited. The definition of incest that we use is more inclusive. It is the definition shared in large measured by therapists who work with issues of sexual abuse and by support organizations of incest survivors. Incest is a violation of a position of trust, power, and protection. Sex between blood relatives is one part of this larger, more inclusive view of incest. Incest differs from other forms of sexual abuse in that the perpetrator is assumed to stand in a protective parent role to the survivor, the very person that the child should be able to turn to for care, comfort, and understanding, violates the trust by sexualizing the relationship. For this to be a traumatic experience, it is not necessary that the parenting figure be a family member. Children naturally trust those adults who are closer to them until there is a reason not to. Sexual exploitation by any older caretaker is, by our definition, incestuous because it destroys that natural trust. This is true whether the perpetrator is a relative by blood or marriage, parent, step-parent, older sibling, neighbor, family, friend, teacher, member of a clergy, therapist, physician, babysitter, camp survivor, or any caretaker. In all instances, the results are similar. The child's world becomes unsafe, confusing, and frightening. In order to survive, the child must make sense of his or her situation. By focusing on incest, we have no desire to minimize the results of other types of sexual abuse. No matter who the abuser is, relative or stranger, the effects of sexual abuse on a child are always serious. One of the aims of this book, right here, however, is to look at some of the specific consequences of when the perpetrator is someone close to the child, and why the scars left by incest are especially deep and difficult to heal. The difference between sexual attack by a stranger and sexual attack by a family member or other adult known by and close to the child must be seen in context. We are taught from earliest childhood that family and friends are to be trusted. We are warned about the danger of trusting strangers. Home is equated with safety. The message is clear and widely reinforced. A recent TV program showed animated cartoons made in the 1940s and the 1950s. The themes of these cartoons were surprisingly similar. A youngster, human or animal, strayed from the protection of family and home, and in course of his or her explorations, they found themselves in danger from the forces of nature or evildoers, only to be rescued at the last minute. The rescuer was usually the youngster's mother, although sometimes the father or both parents. Another relative or family pet played a part. The information conveyed to the child viewing the film was that the strong and unequivocal safety is within the family. Obey the rules. Do what your parents tell you. Stay with what is familiar. Similarity in the classic children's film, The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy returns to the safety of parental figures, Auntie M and Uncle Henry, by repeating the phrase, "There's no place like home." The enchantments and delights of the outside world have proven to be fraught with danger. The only problem is found in the familiar. Sexual attack by a stranger therefore carries a different weight than attack by someone known to the child. We are somewhat more prepared for external dangers, except in a very general way. The child survivor never trusts the stranger in the first place. It is logical for a child who has been attacked by a stranger to turn to the family for support, understanding, and nurturing, and to begin the healing process in safety. If it is necessary to retreat from the world into protection of loved ones, she can do so. The family can comfort, encourage, protect, and eventually guide the child back into the larger world. It can teach him or her how to better protect themselves and how to determine a reasonable level of trust. But what if Mommy or Daddy or Uncle Henry or Auntie M are the attackers? Then who does the child trust? Where does he or she turn to for understanding and protection? The closer the relationship of the victim to the perpetrator, the more certain is the loss of trust. This statement refers not simply to the biological relationship, but also to the emotional connection between the two. The more closely the child survivor is tied to the abuser, the more the issue of trust comes into play. The survivor of incestuous abuse has to deal not only with the results of physical act, but also with the devastation of his or her ability to trust. If he or she cannot trust those closest to him or her, how can it be safe to trust anyone? The destruction and the rebuilding of the ability to trust is a key issue for incest survivors. What are you going to do to take care of yourself today?